What's up, guys? It's KB. Make sure you subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Click the bell icon down below so you don't miss a single video from us. And thanks for tuning in to another video from Underground Sports Philadelphia. Now let's get into it.
Philadelphia, baby, you're gonna love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome into episode number 688 of Underground Sports Philadelphia, presented by the city of Vineland. It's your boy KB coming at you from Underground Studios. And for a second consecutive week, the new Wednesdays on the Underground. Just like if you watch Disney Plus and Loki was switching up the timeline all the time, like Wednesdays were the new Fridays. Wednesdays are with Harry. It's Harry the K Wednesdays. Wednesdays with Harry the K on Underground Sports Philadelphia. Harrison Kremitz back on the show. Stoked to have you. It's so nice having a co-host again.
It's nice being a co-host again. I'm loving being back.
We've got a lot to get into. We're gonna talk. Just talk to our listeners a little bit off the top once we get done all of the business side of things. We will talk about Joel Embiid's suspension, the Marcus Hayes situation continuing to grow. I know I talked about it on Monday's show, but it just continues to grow, and I think it's something that we all need to just discuss and really have a discussion about, especially me being somebody who is in the credentialed media in this city and can kind of play, the role of both the reporter / media member and fan for everybody to a degree. So we'll talk about that. We will get you all geared up for Eagles Cowboys on Sunday. We'll talk some Flyers. We'll talk some Phils. I took a tour of Citizens Bank Park today, which was really awesome. I learned a lot, and I highly recommend doing the tour if you can. We'll talk about that as well. Plus whatever comes to mind from our awesome conversations. But before we get into everything, make sure you guys are following us on the socials. We're across the board on every social platform at Underground PHI, or just search Underground Sports Philadelphia. Subscribe to the podcast on Apple, Spotify. Leave a 5-star rating and review. It goes a long way for helping our show continue to grow. All the shows on our network get viewed when we hit the algorithm on audio platforms. So continue to subscribe on Apple and Spotify and leave those 5-star reviews. And subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, youtube.com/@Underground Sports Philadelphia. That is where you get full video episodes of this show twice a week, full video episodes of every show on our network. Clips, shorts, live streams, original video content. It is all on our YouTube channel. We're currently at 868 subscribers. We're trying to get to 1,000 before the end of the year. So click that subscribe button, leave a like on the video, drop a comment down below, and share the channel and the podcast with your friends and family. And, of course, this show is presented by the City of Vineland and the City of Vineland Municipal Calendar. Features city-organized, city-sponsored, and city-affiliated events that are of public interest. The calendar, which is accessible at vinelandcity.org, is a good way for residents and visitors to build awareness, remain engaged with city government, and participate in local events. You can also follow the City of Vineland on social media via their Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube pages. And through these tools, you can stay connected to the community and get important announcements about programs and services offered by the city. Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season. And big thank you to Security 21 Security Systems and Paul J. Gillespie Incorporated for their continued support of this podcast. Let's dive right into it off the bat before we take you guys, hopefully, on a mental vacation for a little bit. I know it's been a weird, difficult, really unfortunate time for a lot of people over the last 24-ish hours, and by the time you're listening to this, like 36 to 48 hours. I'm not here to talk politics. I'm here to talk human to human. I, with the help of my close friends and with people like Harrison and people who work for this company, have built a platform, and, me being the face of the platform, I feel very inclined to talk about this because there's a lot of people in my life that are affected by this, and the big thing I've learned since Monday's episode drop, which was an awesome episode and an awesome just like moment of building our community out. Shout out to Dylan, aka Philaticus, the MLOT crew for sharing the pod and tuning in, and all of our new followers and listeners. Welcome. I want everyone to know off the rip that Underground Sports Philadelphia is something that I started brainchild wise in 2017. It came to life in February of 2018. And it was about talking Philly sports with fans, for fans. And it's funny that, our actual first sports topic will be about the whole media landscape in this city. But it was also to build a community for people to engage with us, enjoy what we were doing and what we are continuing to do, and it to be a safe place for people to be a part of a community that we can all get along in, that we can all feel safe in. And I want everyone to know that listens to this show, watches this show, follows this show. Underground Sports Philadelphia is one of those places, will be one of those places forever. We are all inclusive to every walk of life. I want everyone to feel safe when they are at any of our events, whenever they are around any of us. We want you to feel a sense of belonging. Your voices are heard, your voices are listened to, and you are valued as a person. Now, I know it's tough to, I even today was like, wow, I have to sit in front of a microphone today and for the next 90 minutes talk about the sports landscape and headlines of our sports teams in this city and just act like, everything is normal. And guess what? Not everything is normal. Um, I don't care about the the nonsense that people are spewing. I care about human beings. I care about people, and that has been what I've been about for as long as I can remember. Is about caring about each other, being there for the people who are less fortunate, who are marginalized against, and making them feel that sense of belonging. I have way too many friends that are part of the LGBTQ plus community. I have way too many friends that are of minorities, whether it be Black, Latino, Asian, the list goes on and on. I have way too many important women in my life that I have every right because I voted. I did my part for what I believe, and I tweeted this. I posted about it. I voted for the 4 Fs, and I should have included a fifth, but I voted for my 4 Fs. And that's family, friends, freedom, facts, and the fifth one would have been future. There's a lot of people out there right now who are walking around with way too much keyboard warrior confidence, and it pisses me the fuck off. And I don't want to sound like the old man yells at clouds take, but I think Chris Long said it best when everything happened at Penn State with Jason Kelsey. He said it on one of the Omaha production podcasts this week. I apologize for not knowing the name. There's too many people in this country who have never faced consequence. Now, he put it as too many people have not been punched in the face. And that can be literally or figuratively, but there's too many people who just don't understand the repercussions of their actions. And that goes from bullying, that comes from voting, that comes from a lot of things. And I woke up today, as we record this on Wednesday, kind of just lost, but I also want everyone out there to know that, like, even when this shit feels bleak and you feel defeated, you feel numb, like, I it might be a fault. I'm an eternal optimist, and I think the change that you want to see in the world can still be made. The change that you want to see for others that you care about can still be made, and there's still a whole hell of a lot of work to be done in this country, and there's a whole hell of a lot of work to be done in our communities, in our social circles, and we're that generation that has gone through the most fucking shit in our lifetimes, and it's insane every time I step back and look at my life from every core memory I have experienced. It has been benchmarked by something that is so unfathomable, it shouldn't even be portrayed in a movie, how insane it is. I just want everyone to know that this podcast is a community. Sure, we're not to the levels of big media networks. We're not to the levels of some independent creators who I have a hell of a lot of respect for. But we grind our asses off to make sure that every single person who talks to us, consumes our content, follows us for what I like to call fan analysis, feels welcome in the underground, feels welcome at any event we put on, feels welcome to talk to us. My social media DMs are always open for a reason. If you need somebody to talk to, if you need somebody to just have a shoulder to lean on, if you need somebody to help you with resources, I want you to know that I am there for you. This company is here for you, and I will do whatever it takes for our entire community we have built since 2018 to feel safe, included, seen, understood, listened to, and feel valued, because I care about human lives. I care about people, and that is a huge foundation of this company, is just making sure that the people around you and the people that you interact with make you feel safe, you make them feel safe. And I can't say that it's going to be okay. These next 4 years are going to be tough. They're going to be insane in a lot of ways. But just know you have this company here is there for you if you need anything at all, and I will not ever stray from those beliefs. And I just want everyone who I know personally who may or may not listen to this show, let them know that I care about them. I see them. I'm here for you. And I'm not going to stop fighting for you to be valued as a human life and be valued as a person, your opinions and your thoughts be valued. And we're gonna navigate it, and we're gonna be there for people at the end of the day. So if you don't like what I had to say there, maybe Underground Sports Philadelphia is not for you. What I'll say is I appreciate you supporting from when you did to now. And if you choose to head on out the door, go find, content consumption that is for you. But at the end of the day, I don't want anyone to ever feel undervalued as a person who is consuming our content, who is part of this Underground Sports Philadelphia community. And I just want everyone to know that is listening to this episode and any episode previously or future, I care about you. I love y'all because you make my ultimate dream of making this my career and my life passion a reality. And it's not possible without our community. So let's get into the sports, Harrison.
Let's do it.
Funnily enough, we're right off the top with the media and why this company was started to a degree, and it is brought to you by our friends over at FOCO, the leaders in forever collectibles. Ladies and gentlemen, FOCO has been releasing lots of new merchandise and products for all fans to show off their favorite team, including our Philadelphia 76ers. We wanted to share some of these items with you just to get them in front of your face. You're going down to the Wells Fargo Center, you're going to, enjoy the game out in the city, you're watching at home. We've got a nice little shopping list here. It's November. Holidays are right around the corner. That shit comes quick. I'll tell you that much. That shit comes quick. We've got a nice little curated list in the description for you of some awesome new items that FOCO has available, including the Philadelphia 76ers team stripe bib overalls. You guys have seen me wearing the Phillies overalls and the Shortalls for the past couple years now. Now they're available in the Sixers version of the overalls, and I'm pulling them up right now to take a look at them, and they are genuinely awesome. They're blue overalls, red straps, 76ers logo on the pant leg. It's got the racing stripes going down the legs and the Sixers logo right on that bib. There is the Joel Embiid Philadelphia 76ers big head bobblehead. Philadelphia, who doesn't love a good friendship bracelet, Harrison? Come on now. We got the beaded friendship bracelets. There's a 76ers team gnome. I don't know about you, Harrison. I think gnomes are the coolest thing to display, whether it's outdoors or indoors in your house. They're the coolest little dudes in the world. I love gnomes. They also, I think you'll enjoy this too, since obviously working at a bar and at a pub. They've got the 76ers bottle cap wall sign.
Ooh.
Absolutely mint. They've also got the 76ers action backpack, as well as the Philadelphia 76ers team property Sherpa Plus throw blanket. If that doesn't sound like the softest and warmest thing I've ever read in my life, I don't know what is. And I just pulled it up, and man, that thing looks warm. Perfect gift for this holiday season. This whole list is curated and in the description of this podcast, both on audio and video. So check out the new 76ers merchandise from FOCO and shop everything at FOCO and upgrade your fandom today with our friends at FOCO. And we thank FOCO for being a proud partner of Underground Sports Philadelphia. Harrison, Joel Embiid's been suspended for 3 games for the incident with Marcus Hayes, and a TMZ report came out today as we record this that Marcus Hayes is still going to be able to cover the 76ers. That, I believe, is coming from the Sixers brass, but it's obviously a thing that the Inquirer, if they had any sense of compassion for what has occurred, you don't put Marcus Hayes on the Sixers beat.
No, you really don't. Like, Joel Embiid absolutely has gotten what he deserves for this incident. You don't go out and you don't push a guy. That's well and good. Marcus Hayes shouldn't have brought up his dead brother and his son in the same breath while trying to criticize him. That is something you do not cross the line with. Marcus Hayes should be put on another beat. Let him cover other sports, but do not put him back on the Sixers.
And here's my thing with Marcus Hayes, and I talked about this a little bit on Monday too. This is not his first time doing this. If you all want to rewind to this spring, Marcus Hayes was the one conjuring up the AJ Brown controversy that led to AJ Brown going on WIP and absolutely eviscerating every host on WIP on the air. Like, Marcus Hayes has just gotten away with far too much for far too long without facing any repercussions. And I don't want to hear, oh, he apologized, the Inquirer removed it from the digital version. That hindsight's 2020. It should never have made its way past that editor.
Yep.
And Marcus Hayes, he is just a clickbait take artist. He's never provided genuine coverage for his columns of anything in this city. He gets off on that far too often. And the fact that we had Daryl Morey and Elton Brand apologizing to him rather than standing up for the face of your franchise is disgusting in its own right. Because, newsflash, none of this happens if Daryl Morey or Elton Brand goes in front of the press and says, hey, this is the situation going on with Joel Embiid before the season starts or even after game one.
It's so dumb. You have to get ahead of any situation that could have happened. You knew Joel Embiid was going to be sitting out a bunch of games this year. You know his health issues. This could have been averted, but if you're going to mess around, you got to find out the consequences eventually. And the fact that Marcus Hayes has not gotten any consequences for multiple egregious actions is despicable.
Yeah, so as somebody who is a credentialed media member in this city with multiple teams, obviously one is more so with a league that is traveling, and that's the PLL, and we appreciate the ever-living hell out of them.
Shout out PLL.
And obviously the Water Dogs being a Philadelphia team, I'm very intertwined with the Water Dogs. The Philadelphia Wings are the first team that ever took a shot on us as a media company to give us credentials, and we have been able to grow our platform since then to be super involved with them, and it has grown past that, and we are working our way to the major four sports, obviously. But as somebody who is on the Wings beat, I cover every Wings home game at the Wells Fargo Center. I'm in attendance as long as I don't have a prior commitment that I can't get out of. I'm at the Wells Fargo Center every single Wings home game. I'm covering the games from a journalistic and media standpoint. I wouldn't say journalistic because I'm not writing, but from a just content standpoint, and using what I'm watching to put into video and audio form on our shows. I'm doing that from home too when they're on the road. I'm sitting on my couch and I'm locked in watching. I'm live tweeting as if I'm at the Wells Fargo Center for that game. Never should you ever, and I said this on Monday and I've said it a ton, there's a line that is in the sand. You can criticize a player. I have been critical of players on multiple teams that I either do not have credentials for or have credentials for.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I'm criticizing their play. I'm not criticizing them as a person. I'm not criticizing their family members. That is a line you don't cross. I don't care what field you're in. I don't care what it is. You don't speak ill on someone's family to garner clicks, to try to conjure up a position on how you're feeling about a star player in this city sitting out October basketball. Harrison, I'm going to ask you this question. When has this city in the last decade plus cared about October basketball this much?
Never. We've had
Ding, ding,
so
ding,
many other
ding.
things to care about. We have the Eagles who are playing pretty damn well right now. Why would we care about beginning season Sixers basketball?
We have never cared about October basketball, November basketball, as long as I can remember. And even in this era, I'm not even talking about, process building. I'm saying from 2018, that first year they made the playoffs, to now. People obviously tune in.
Yeah.
There's excitement because it's a new season. But we're dissecting the fucking basketball team now, just like the buffoons who try to dissect 162 Phillies games like it's the goddamn NFL.
Oh no, the Sixers dropped 4 games out of an 82-game season at the beginning of the season. It's ruined. It's over. I'm sorry, guys. They're not making
Like
the playoffs. The season's done. It's a wash.
we have underperformed without the face of our franchise and the biggest free agent signing in franchise history. And let's spin the camera a little bit and go a little up the road from where you are now. The Milwaukee Bucks are healthy sans Chris Middleton and are in the same boat as the Sixers. Oh, last I checked, the Sixers are 3 games out of being the number 3 seed in the East on November 6th of the new
Wow.
season.
Wow. It's
Maybe,
almost as if
just maybe,
yeah.
it's almost like this team is missing the 2 out of 3 key contributors that the rest of this roster was built around, and there's going to be early bumps in the road. Now, I understand the frustration of the lack of transparency, but I've also said this on this show. When in the Josh Harris, David Blitzer ownership era, have the Sixers ever been a transparent organization on anything? The answer is never. They were never going to be transparent about this. They hide in the shadows because they don't give a fuck about this team
Yep.
to the degree they care about the other teams that they own, because those are the new shinier toys than the Sixers. Guess what, guys? This team, when Joel Embiid and Paul George and Tyrese Maxey are on the floor together, there's going to be nights they look like the best team in the NBA.
Yeah.
And nobody is going to care about this. But because the Sixers have struggled, because the Phillies fizzled out late and didn't go deep into October to kind of distract us even more from the Sixers season starting, and because people want to just prematurely say because Nick Sirianni yelled at fans, he should be fired in week 5 of the NFL season, we as Philly sports fans need to do a little woo-saw and take a deep breath in through the nose, hold it for 4, and exhale slowly through the mouth. I just don't understand why everyone is so caught up in Joel Embiid missing games this early in the season when all they've cared about in the times that Embiid has been healthy during the regular season is down the stretch. He looks worn out. He looks tired. He gets injured. And let's also say more of those injuries than not have been freak ass injuries
Yeah.
that happen to somebody once in a lifetime, not multiple of those things happening year over year over year. You don't take a teammate's scapula to the eyeball on a normal team. You don't come down with Bell's palsy and play through it on a normal team. You don't have broken fingers and multiple games where Joel Embiid has to look like the Phantom of the fucking Opera to protect his face, and people saying Joel Embiid hasn't done anything this. That man puts his fucking body and health on the line more so than any athlete in this city does. I think if you had to put it here, it's Joel Embiid and Bryce Harper who are
Yeah.
just willing to put their bodies on the line for this city to go out and the ultimate goal be for them to win a championship.
Yeah.
And it's also insane to me that this whole Marcus Hayes situation happens. Joel's now suspended for 3 games. I love how it's being played up now that Joel was going to be available to play tonight, and it starts the countdown of his suspension. So Joel's potential season debut is going to be on November 12th, the first game of the NBA Cup against the New York Knicks.
Perfect.
Beautiful posturing
Perfect.
there. But everyone online, NBA Twitter, and the NBA talking heads, the pundits, if you will, are always so down on Joel Embiid. it's always a negative thing with Joel. It's
Yeah.
he was gifted the MVP. He's never healthy. Make him play in multiple games back to back if you really want to punish him. This, that, and the third. When you see 98% of the online NBA heads, the podcasters, the media members, the NBA Twitters, the Muse accounts, all of that siding with Joel Embiid on an issue, that's how you know Marcus Hayes done fucked up.
Yep.
You got everyone defending Joel Embiid all of a sudden.
That's a shocker right there. I have never once seen that in my life. That man has been the scapegoat for every single bad thing in the NBA for the past 5 years.
And not
So
even
to
just the
see
NBA, just
everybody
basketball.
yeah,
He was criticized for playing for Team USA in the
yeah.
Olympics.
Even though he's been here his entire basketball career from the age of 16, his son is a natural born citizen of the United States. And, he's never going to get the chance to play with some of these players ever again. Who would pass up the opportunity to play with LeBron, to play with Kevin Durant, to all these massive names? Of course he's going to try and play for Team USA. That's a no-brainer.
And at
It's
the end
just
of the day, he was doing it for his son, for his
yes.
family. Joel Embiid is the biggest family man ever. Like, the way he loves his
Literally.
family is so awesome. And just seeing the fact that Marcus Hayes can get away with saying the shit that he said, have it redacted on the digital version. I also find it very funny that the Inquirer has that article behind a paywall,
Oh, of course.
probably to prevent people from reading it.
Yeah.
But the fact that he can just get away with saying shit like that, the fact that he can get away with the AJ Brown incident that was just conjured up out of the clouds.
Yeah.
And I love that somebody found an old clip of when it was Comcast Sportsnet, which is now NBC Sports
RIP.
Philly, when they
CSN.
had the old, talk shows on there, to kind of go head to head with ESPN. And Marcus Hayes, and they were talking about it was pretty funny because the Flyers just had all their moms out on that road trip, and for the
Yep.
home game, they were talking about the Flyers' dads going out to games and everything. And Marcus Hayes on TV says something that, like, I knew it was coming, and I still couldn't believe
Oh,
the
Lord.
words left his mouth, talking about saying, you don't see them doing that in the NBA.
Jesus Christ. How do you say that?
Right. Like,
How?
that's who Marcus Hayes is. Like, that's what he does. And we're allowing this guy access to sports teams where he's just getting away with bullshit.
Yeah, you cannot have a history like that and keep getting away with it. You are sowing discord in the teams that we care about just for clicks, just
Like,
for a little bit of money.
I saw a clip that Roan, who I have a lot of respect for, who hosts the Pat Bev pod, talked about how the Pat Bev pod last season got their credentials revoked because another reporter said that they were like plants in a press conference to hype up Pat Bev, and were not doing it for the integrity of the podcast. They had theirs revoked.
How
Yet
the integrity of the podcast? It's Pat Bev's podcast. There's gonna be integrity involved because
he's on the team.
yeah, he's on the team. Let him have his podcast at the press conferences. Oh my God.
It's insane that like that resulted in a revoked credential. But this continues to allow to have Marcus Hayes have media
Get a
access
little
to this
slap
team.
on the wrist. That's it. Go back and do your thing. Write another fake article about how, I don't know, Paul George isn't the greatest dad in the world, maybe,
Like,
or something like that. Go.
he's the worst, and I understand Joel is getting suspended. Like,
You can't put your hands
any
on someone.
right, and even it's wild to me that there's a full press conference room of people, and no one has put a video out of said altercation.
Yeah.
I don't know if that is because the Sixers are threatening to revoke credentials if it comes out or whatever it may be. I don't know. I'm just saying that as an example. But it is kind of crazy that we haven't seen it. And Keith Pompey also does not get away clean here, where he said that Joel punched Marcus Hayes. Brother,
Oh,
he shoved him with his. He did one of these little shoulder like bumps.
it was here's this guy I don't like in the hallway. Let me just bang.
Yes, like, and even to that, I almost feel like 3 games of a suspension for
Yeah,
Joel is a
oh,
little harsh.
one game. Just,
Like,
I mean,
and I get the
fourth
NBA
round
is
of
going to
fine.
do that, but
Just
if
maybe a
the
fine.
roles were reversed and Marcus Hayes put his hands on Joel or put his shoulder on Joel, what happens then?
I don't know. Maybe you get your press pass revoked. Maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe you
Or
get a
is
fine.
Daryl Morey and Elton Brand going to apologize to Marcus Hayes for that too?
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. Joel shouldn't have walked in the way of your shoulder. That's
Sorry
our
he was
bad.
in your he was in your personal bubble.
Yeah.
It's
He
just pathetic.
Nobody within this range, or else you're getting shoved.
Like, it's so pathetic that he is still permitted in that building.
Yeah.
And I hope, I hope, I hope this is what happens. I've seen this happen with players, with media members who have rubbed players the wrong way for less. We just saw Trayvon Diggs lose it on a guy, and they have since made up.
Yeah.
But I hope that if Marcus Hayes isn't cowardice enough and shows up to Sixers games while Joel Embiid is playing and has media availability, I hope Joel just pretends like he's not there.
Yeah.
That's the ultimate form of payback and the ultimate form of fuck around and find out from Joel is that if Marcus Hayes decides to try to ask him a question, Joel just does not answer
Yeah.
and does not even acknowledge Marcus Hayes exists.
He could be pulling a full Hermione Granger. Ooh, 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 and you could just still ignore him.
Like, I hope that's what happens. I hope
Yeah.
Joel does not answer to Marcus ever again.
No.
I hope Joel provides zero insight to Marcus Hayes directly whatsoever. And that's what Joel should do. That's Joel is known like Joel Troel Embiid.
Yeah.
That's the ultimate troll, is to not afford Marcus Hayes your breath.
Yeah. You're expecting Joel Embiid to be the funny and outspoken guy that he's always been. If you flip that on its head, he's going to shock everybody and really make Marcus Hayes feel like an idiot.
Like, that's what needs to happen, and I'm genuinely stunned that it didn't even happen at their arena, and I was happy that it did happen, but Howard Eskin is not allowed at the Sixers practice facility
I wonder
for
why.
something that occurred at Citizens Bank Park. But the fact that this happened at the Sixers game facility
Yep.
and Marcus Hayes is still allowed to cover the team is crazy to me.
Realistically, journalists in Philadelphia, specifically sports journalists, should stop trying to get in the heads of these athletes.
Right, Marcus Hayes is not the only one either.
Yeah.
Like,
You can
this is just a
absolutely.
prime
Yeah.
spotlight example because it's timely and it has happened over the past week or so now, however long it's been. But there's multiple reporters, and my good friend Josh Reynolds always puts it the best. Shout out to Josh. Nobody hates Philadelphia athletes more than Philadelphia media,
Yep.
and nobody hates Philadelphia media more than Philadelphia fans.
Yep. It's this cycle of toxicity that has just continued to fester and breed and just continue to bring hatred between all 3 cycles of the Philadelphia sports life. And you can absolutely be critical of an athlete without hating on them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, sure, some players make bad plays. I've been critical of Jalen Hurts in the past. I will still ride or die for that guy because he is our quarterback. Like, will I say that he made a bad throw? Absolutely. Will I say he needs to pick up the pace of his decision making? Absolutely. At the end of the day, though, he's a good ass dude who leads this team in more ways than one and deserves to be at the he deserves to hold that C on his jersey.
And I do the same thing with the Phillies. You guys know, if you've listened to this show, and you obviously know the Phillies are my guys, like that's my ride or die team for sure. I'm critical of them when they are slumping. I talk about how it's crazy that their plate approach is so off for guys that are so talented. I've criticized Trey Turner. I've criticized my guy, Nick Castellanos, but in a constructive way. Like, the Castellanos family listens to this show. Like, I'm not going to slander Nick's name. Not that I ever would, but like,
Shout out Liam.
they still listen to the show, and I can be critical of Nick's play because I know if Nick was sitting right next to me when I'm talking about it, he would say the same thing. It's like, I got to be better. I've been critical of Bryce Harper. I've been critical of Brandon Marsh and Alec Boehm. And I've been critical of every player on that roster outside of a couple guys who just have never needed to be criticized, like a Zach Wheeler. Like,
a perfect king.
Like, I've been critical of players in this city, but I'm critical of their play.
Yes.
I'm not critical of them as a human. I'm not critical of them from a personal life standpoint. And that's where so many of these traditional media members in Philadelphia in particular, because this is our media market, I'm sure this happens in so many different cities too. But
Not to the
Philadelphia
extent.
media, you need to be better. You need to be more critical of play and make that be conveyed in your reporting, in your articles, in your tweets, in your posts, rather than it coming across that you're taking a dig at them as a person.
I can tell you right now, if any of that crap was pulled at the IDS, the Indiana University college newspaper, you'd be fired. Easy.
Yep. So, I mean, it's crazy. We'll see. You know, I'm sure it's going to continue to be talked about, and we'll keep following along with it. But let me know how you feel about this whole situation in the YouTube comment section, or Harrison, everyone can leave us a voicemail. Our voicemail line is open 24/7, 365. It's short, simple, and sweet. 90 seconds or less. Give us your thoughts on whatever comes to mind, Philly sports wise, Philly culture wise, athlete wise. Give us, a prompt or a take or something to talk about, a discussion point. We'll answer it. Speakpipe.com/underground sports Philadelphia. It's linked in the description. It's in our social media bios as well. Leave us a voicemail. We want to hear from you guys. Speakpipe.com/underground sports Philadelphia. Speaking of Jalen Hurts, the Philadelphia Eagles, Harrison, it's Cowboys week for the first time this year.
Woo!
The trade deadline has come and gone, and we're going to talk all about it. But before we do, our Eagles discussion is brought to you by our friends over at Paramount Plus. Yes, we're a Paramount Plus pod, and guess what, everyone? It's time to lock in on Week 10 in the NFL. The NFL on CBS schedule is here for you. Review your local listings for games in your area, and if that game is your particular area's CBS game on cable, you'll be able to stream it on Paramount Plus. Nice little Sunday slate to kick off on Paramount Plus and on CBS Sunday, November 10th at 1 p.m. Eastern time. We've got the Broncos at the Chiefs, the Steelers at the Commanders. That game is going to be must watch for Eagles fans. And then we've got Bills at Colts, which will be a doozy of a game. Joe Flacco trying to rebound after a Sunday night loss to the Vikings. The Bills are rolling. So that's a nice little 3-game slate at 1 p.m. on Paramount Plus. And then at 4:25, it's Eagles at the Cowboys or Jets at the Cardinals. Stream the NFL on CBS and watch your local game live on Paramount Plus. Try it for free. Click our link in the description to check it out, to try it for free, or sign up for a subscription with Paramount Plus and be able to stream all your favorite NFL games. Whole bunch of soccer as well, from the Champions League to the Carabao Cup. Whole bunch of backlog, nostalgic. I think more than ever, we need some of it. Some nice little Nickelodeon is available to you. Their whole catalog on there. Every season of Survivor is on Paramount Plus. The new season of Ink Master as well, plus a whole lot more. But stream the NFL all season long on Paramount Plus. Check your local game live on Paramount Plus. And let's watch the Birds and the Boys on Paramount Plus. Harrison, the Eagles getting ready for the Cowboys this week. The trade deadline, though, has come and gone. And for what feels like the first time in a long time, the Eagles stand pat. They do not make a move at the deadline.
Weird. I figured Howie would be wheeling and
Strange.
dealing.
And here's why I'm okay with it. Your draft picks are performing.
Yep.
Where in seasons past, it's been kind of a learning curve for a lot of your draft picks, trying to get acclimated to the system, or you just didn't have the right pieces in place, so you had to go and supplant that with a trade deadline deal. Or you felt like you were one piece away, and you add like Jay Ajayi in 2017. The Eagles have their rookies performing, and their second-year players are performing, and that's a huge feather in the cap of Howie Roseman in the way that he's been able to draft the last couple of years. When you see, just give Quinyon Mitchell the Defensive Rookie of the Year award right now.
Easy. Cooper.
Cooper DeJean has been playing fantastic as well. I love that people are calling anyone that is going matched up with Quinyon Mitchell. They're calling it Quinyonimo Bay.
Yeah, oh my God, that's so good. That's so good. Lock him up. Lock him up.
He has been spectacular. Jalen Carter has been fantastic. Milton Williams has been awesome. Jordan Davis has been doing his thing. Like
Zach Bond
Zach Bond is a brilliant extend Zach Bond. Hashtag extend Zach Bond. Nakobe Dean has been sensational this year, and I laugh at everyone who was writing off Nakobe Dean coming into the season. He's been sensational. In the opportunities he's gotten, Keely Ringo has been great. This team has young talent performing, and that's why you didn't necessarily have to make a move. Now, would you have loved to have seen another pass rusher come in because Bryce Huff hasn't lived up to the expectation yet? Sure. But at the end of the day, this is a signal to me that Howie Roseman, Jeffrey Lurie, Nick Sirianni, and this coaching staff feel confident with the players in the building.
Yep.
And I want everyone to remember kind of the inverse here, where baseball season is not like NFL season. NFL trade deadline is not like MLB trade deadline. You know, it's already the halfway point of the NFL season already. It's crazy to think about, but we're at the halfway point, just a little bit over as soon as kickoff happens this week.
Oh my God. Yeah, wait. Oh my God.
To learn an NFL playbook, whether it's offense or defense or special teams, and really be dialed in at what you're doing and performing at your best takes time. That's why training camp is so long. That's why we have multiple preseason games. That's why the first month of the season looks like garbage when your players don't play in the preseason. It takes time to get acclimated to a new environment, a new playbook, unless you have prior experience in that similar coaching style.
Yep.
Not every trade in the NFL works out. It's very rare when you see a trade deadline trade work out for that season.
What was the big one last year for us? The Titans. We traded from the Titans.
Oh yeah, for Kevin Byard, and
Kevin Byard. Yeah, great example. He didn't work out.
He's a great player. He's had a great career, but he didn't work out here. It didn't mesh. It didn't get in motion on time. But then you have moves like Jay Ajayi where that worked and
won the Super Bowl with him.
That was one of the buttons that was pushed that ended up working to get to a Super Bowl and win a Super Bowl. But not every trade. I mean, not every trade in general. Like it took until this week for Jahan Dotson to make a catch.
Yeah. And Bryce Huff, he's still learning how to work with this team. I want to give this man time. He's not going to come out right away and know how to play with the Eagles immediately. Hell, it's better than what the Jets got out of the deal. But I really do like the confidence that we have in our players this year. We didn't send anybody away. We didn't bring anyone new in. It's a good sign going into the playoffs and going into the end of the season, because even if the Commanders do wind up winning the NFC East, I think we lock up that wild card spot pretty handily. I'd rather us play more games. I'd rather us continue to grow as a team, because we can only continue to get better from here.
Yeah, and I mean, you look at the Eagles' schedule down the stretch, it's very favorable for the Eagles with who they
Yes.
play, when they play them, where they play them. Like, let's also not forget, the Eagles are 6-2, and I know the home road splits say they're 3-1 at home, 3-1 on the road. They're technically 4-1 on the road and 2-1 at home because their first home game, quote unquote, was
Yeah.
in Brazil.
Yeah.
Like,
That
they
doesn't
played
count.
that game on the road. So I mean, like, they're 6-2. They have one of the best points against numbers in the NFL and especially in the NFC. Like, looking at the NFC right now, the only teams who have allowed fewer points than the Philadelphia Eagles this season are the Detroit Lions, the Chicago Bears, and the Minnesota Vikings.
And we've been scoring a hell of a lot more than the Chicago Bears, I'll tell you that right now.
The Eagles have surrendered 155 points this year.
That's pretty damn good.
Like, the defense has been balling. Do you want to see more from the offense? They've scored 199 points. Maybe if they gave the Eagles the 2-point conversion like they should have, they'd be over the 200-point threshold. I digress.
And, we might have 7 less points on that board or 8 less points on that board if they called that fumble properly, but
Correct.
it is
So,
what
I
it
mean,
is. We won the game.
this
Move on.
team is playing super well, and they have one of the longest win streaks in the NFL right now. They've won 4 in a row. And now you're getting geared up for Cowboys week,
Yeah.
rivalry week. You haven't beaten the Cowboys in Dallas in a long time. I think
They
it's been
haven't beat
since
us in Philadelphia
2017.
either in a long time.
I
So,
want to see.
yeah, it's been at least 5 years, I wanna say.
I want to say the last time the Eagles beat the Cowboys in Dallas was 2017.
I think it was. It was the year we won the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah. So let's see. At
'Cause we
Dallas, we
Yeah.
lost last year.
Yep.
We lost in 2022 by 6.
Yep.
We lost in 2021 by a whole hell of a lot.
I don't
Um,
remember that one.
we lost in
2020 was,
2020.
yep,
We got wiped.
yep.
2019 we lost big time.
Oh, and then
20
2018 was the year we got screwed out of it because
in
the
overtime.
Dallas Goedert got rocked in the head in the no
Yeah.
call. Yeah.
So then the last time the Eagles in Dallas beat the Cowboys was November 19th, almost to the day we will be playing them.
Yeah.
November 19th, 2017 was the last time the Eagles beat the Cowboys in Dallas 37-9.
So we're overdue.
We are well overdue, and this Cowboys team coming in even more banged up than they were last week. Dak
No Dak
Prescott is
Prescott.
out, which I'm still surprised that there's been no report on what happened to his hand. I was shocked to hear that he was out with a hamstring issue because
I thought it was
I
his
don't know if you
hand.
saw from that game, his
Yeah.
hand looked like it got stung by wasps.
I I really am starting to feel a little bit bad for Dak Prescott. He's just been getting thrown to the wolves, but at the end of the day, if the Cowboys keep losing, that's well and good by me. I
CeeDee
hope.
Lamb, I think, is week to week as well, so
Yep.
he might be out. And the Cowboys traded a 4th-round pick for a guy that people playing Madden couldn't even get a 4th-round pick for in return through the Madden
Yeah.
simulation, which is hilarious to me. Also, the Cowboys gave up more for Jonathan Ringo than they got back for Amari Cooper.
Isn't Micah Parsons supposed to be out too?
I think Micah is still out. He might be
Yeah.
questionable.
This is a
DeMarcus
banged up
Lawrence
Dallas
is
team.
still out. They have a lot of good. Brandon Cooks is still out. They
Yep.
don't have a running game whatsoever.
The
And
a washed ass running game.
yeah, like there's already turmoil with Ezekiel Elliott's reunion with them. Like he probably will not be on that team for much longer.
Nope.
They are a beatable team right now.
Oh, I think it's way more than beatable. If we don't go in there and stomp them, I might have some serious questions about this
Like,
team.
I view this game very similarly to last week in the sense that the Cowboys' offensive line is not what the offensive line was of the late 2010s for the Cowboys.
No,
This is
no,
not your
God, no.
5 all-pro offensive linemen and them being, first team all-pro and AP all-pro and Pro Bowl winning, offensive line. This
Yeah.
offensive line is very different. Cooper Rush, serviceable backup quarterback, a beatable backup quarterback.
Isn't it going to be Trey Lance?
I think he's the backup to Cooper Rush.
Ooh.
So he'll be the backup to.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Beatable backup quarterback. They don't have anyone to throw the ball to, especially if CeeDee Lamb is out. And the way this defense has been playing,
It's not
get after the quarterback. Get after the quarterback. I'll say this, and I said it on Monday's episode. I want to see another performance like I saw against the Jaguars from Josh Sweat.
Yes.
That Josh Sweat game against the Jaguars was the best game he's had all season. And it's because he was able to beat his matchup and get after the quarterback, get into that pocket and disrupt it. And the guys around him, the Nolan Smiths, Nakobe Dean, Zach Bond, were in the area to make Trevor Lawrence step up, and he was stepping up into the defensive line for the Eagles, whether it was Jalen Carter, Josh Sweat, the list goes on and on. You have to make it a chaotic environment for Cooper Rush.
Absolutely.
Win the turnover battle. You should be able to get some interceptions off of him. He's far from Superman. And the Eagles, again, offensively, run the ball, establish the run, see what you can do with Saquon early.
Yep.
Get that going. And then that opens up the passing routes for Devontae Smith, for what should be A.J. Brown this week, for Jahan Dotson, for what is looking like, I think I saw Martin Frank report on this, Dallas Goedert is going to be back for this game.
I got an update on the sleeper app for fantasy football. He has been changed from questionable to healthy. So
there we go. Like, you're going to have Dallas Goedert back. And that also opens up opportunities to have two tight end sets because Calcaterra has stepped up admirably for Dallas Goedert in his absence. Just take care of the football. You have taken care of the football the last 5 weeks.
Yeah.
Continue that trend. Be confident in your throws if you're Jalen Hurts. And just be smart on offense. Don't try to get too cute. Learn from some of the mistakes this past week against the Jaguars. But this Eagles team should be able to go into Dallas and get a convincing win on Sunday.
I really don't want to see any of the crap from last week where Nick Sirianni thought he was the smartest guy in the room. I want him to stick to his basics, which he did perfectly in the first half of last week. No cutesy shit. Just get in there, run the ball well, open up the passing lanes, get yourself set, and just run them over. This isn't the Jaguars we're talking about here. No matter how banged up they are, this is still the Cowboys, and there's only one thing us Philadelphia fans want: utter and complete domination. If we don't walk it out of there with a 45 or something to nothing victory, 42 to nothing, 49 to nothing, I don't want it. Just beat the hell out of them.
And it's one of those things too, like if it presents itself, it's okay to send one of the best field goal kickers in the NFL out to kick a field goal.
Maybe don't send him out from 59 yards, but if it's 4th and 5 on the 35-yard line, put Jake Elliott in the game.
Let him kick. Let him kick. But yeah, I think that the Eagles, thankfully, for the most part, are relatively healthy. They're getting guys back. They're playing good football. They're playing good team football right now. And that's all you can ask for. And obviously, this is going to be a huge game with implications because not only are you playing the Cowboys on Sunday, the Steelers are at the Commanders on Sunday, which is a huge game in and of itself. And that's at 1:00. You also have a short week this week, and it's against the Commanders at home, Thursday Night Football after this game. Everyone freaking out today with the injury reports. Guys, we have 2 games in the next 4 days.
Yeah.
In terms of next week. Guys are going to rest. The veterans are going to rest to get their bodies good for a 2-game stretch in 4 days. I just want this team to play fundamentally sound football. Do what you have to do to win, and that's take care of the football, get turnovers on defense, and just keep playing extremely solid team football, and you're going to win this game with ease.
Exactly. And
I
this is where we find out the identity of this Eagles team.
Yep.
We need to
That's
see.
what I said. I talked about it with you last week. I said it on Monday. This pocket of games out of the bye week, from the Browns game to this Cowboys game, was what I was looking at, that we were going to learn everything we needed to know about this Eagles team.
Absolutely.
And so far, I have learned a whole hell of a lot about this Eagles team. And a lot of it is positive, which is a good
Yeah.
thing for this football team. I've never seen so many people just so gloom and doom about a 6-2 football team in my life.
We went out there and played a hell of a first half against Jacksonville and cleaned up where we needed to clean up to get the win. Yes, are there things we can criticize? Like, again, as I said earlier, Nick Sirianni trying to be the smartest guy in the room. Yes, we can criticize that, but if he calls the game the way he called that first half, we will be absolutely fine. This team has so many more upsides than it does downsides. And I don't understand the negativity around this team right now. Let's amp up the positive vibes because we're looking a hell of a lot better than we did last year at this point.
Oh, yeah. Like at this point last year, I think we all had Midnight Green and Kelly Green blinders on.
Yeah, we were undefeated, but we didn't look good.
Right.
We have 2 losses this year, but we look again a hell of a lot better.
And
I'd
one of
much
them should
rather
have been a win.
Yeah,
Like,
I'd much rather have a 2-loss, uh, good-looking team out there than an undefeated mediocre team like the Chiefs are right now.
like
That Chiefs team is gonna drop off hard in the playoffs.
oh yeah. And I said about after the Jaguars game too. Like, if the refs give the Eagles that 2-point conversion like they should have, that's 2 more points on the board for the Eagles.
Yep.
They take the 7 points off the board for the Jaguars after the Saquon fumble. Who knows how that drive goes, but nonetheless, it's 7 points off the board.
Yep.
You're looking at a 30-16 win at the
Yeah, instead
very
of 28 to
worst.
23.
Like, that's a 2-touchdown game right there. Like,
Yep.
at the end of the day, it didn't happen, so you have to take for what it was. But the Eagles have been playing really good football right now. And again, it also says the same thing about the Browns game. The defense gave up no touchdowns in that game. It was a
Yeah.
special teams touchdown. Take that off the board, it's 20-9.
Yeah.
So they're playing good football right now. I feel very good about this team. Saquon Barkley, NFC Offensive Player of the Week for a 3rd time already this season.
Should be player of the year.
He won 3 Offensive Player of the Week awards in 8 years with the New York Giants.
We're
He's
seeing what
won
he can do.
3
Oh,
in 9 weeks with the Philadelphia, or in 8 weeks, I should say, with the Philadelphia Eagles.
we are seeing what he can do with a real offensive line and a quarterback who is, how should I put this?
Competent.
Good, competent, alive.
It's wild. He's so good. He's so fun.
Thank you, New York. I
Oh,
sincerely cannot thank the Giants and their ownership enough for sending him to us
it's the
for a
best.
Wawa gift card and a bag of chips.
And those chips were oh so delicious.
Oh yeah,
But yeah, I'm excited for this game. It should be a solid, like, benchmark win for the Eagles this week.
yes,
And
absolutely.
I'm feeling good about it. And let me know how you guys are feeling about it. Let Harrison know how you're feeling about it in the comment section. Leave us a voicemail as well. Leave us your voicemails during, before, and after the game as well. I'll react to them for Monday's show. We are going to get into the Flyers and the Phils, but before we do, we've got 2 more interviews from Wings Media Day to wrap up our Media Day junket that we had. Phil Caputo, Anthony Malcom, 2 new members on this team coming over from the Panther City Dispersal Draft. 2 very fun, personable players that I think a lot of people are going to enjoy in this city. Wings fans, Phil Caputo is an absolute gem. And Harrison, he said the name of OTB during the interview unprompted, and that's how you know he's my guy now. I always
Yes,
define Phil Caputo as the Wings killer. Anytime that Panther City was playing against the Wings, he was the one always coming up with the last, loose ball, coming up with the game-winning goal, game-winning assist, whatever it may be. I'm so happy he's going to be doing that to 13 other teams this season. So, Phil Caputo, Anthony Malcom, coming at you from Wings Media Day. Again, big thank you to Lauren Coranda and the entire Wings organization for having us out at Media Day a couple weeks ago. Just an absolute awesome experience, and to have these interviews for you guys is a pleasure. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back talking Flyers, talking a little Phils, and my tour of Citizens Bank Park. But right now, it's Phil Caputo and Anthony Malcom on Underground Sports Philadelphia. All right, everybody, welcome back. We are here at Philadelphia Wings Team Media Day, and joining us is the one and only Phil Caputo. And Phil, I got to say off the rip, I'm happy to see you in a Wings uniform now, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I'm excited to be here and play for this organization.
Super happy to have you here. We've joked on the Outside the Box podcast a ton. I've been covering this team for a while, and ever since you've been in Panther City, I said, Phil Caputo is the Wings killer. Every time that Panther City played against the Wings, it always felt like you were the one with the ball in your stick at the very end scoring that game winner. So as a fan of the team, as somebody who covers the team and wants to see them succeed, it's nice to have you, don in the black and gold for the first time.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. Hopefully I'll be doing that for the Wings this season against everyone else.
Talk to me about just the excitement you have coming to this team, and, how much does the stress and pressure kind of alleviate when you have a bunch of your former teammates coming in as well and TK along for the ride?
Yeah, no, for sure. The familiarity definitely makes the transition a lot easier, and just even the guys that I haven't played with in Panther City, just, guys like Joe Rezateris and Mitch Jones, getting to reunite with them. I'm excited to see how my game can complement them, and hopefully, definitely working with Rezzy on the right-hand side, trying to get him open, put him in good positions to put the ball in the net. I'm really excited to work with him.
You've been here as a visitor before. How excited are you to have, the 10,000-plus Philadelphia fans rooting for you now instead of, being against you?
Really excited. As everyone knows, Philadelphia fans are really passionate about the game, and they show their excitement. I've always been on the other side of it, getting heckled and stuff. So really happy to have their support this time around.
Going through, Media Day today and just being here at the Wells Fargo Center and kind of just taking it in, what's it been like for you to kind of, get the sights and sounds of Philadelphia a little bit and kind of get to call this place home?
It's pretty cool. This is the first time I've played for an organization that's owned by an NHL team, an NBA team, or I don't know if they're owned by NBA, but just playing in an NHL size arena with all the fans that come and bring the energy, bring that loud. I'm excited. I just can't wait.
You look at this roster too, and last season I think everybody who is still here would tell you that last year didn't go the way that they wanted it to, and to bring back so many blue chip players like a Blaze Reardon, like Mitch Jones, Joe Rezateris, and the like, and to bring your guys' playoff experience in as well, and then you add the number 1 overall pick in Brennan O'Neill to that mix. Talk to me about just that formula of having, so much experience coming in so many different walks of life of lacrosse, whether it is the field game, the world game, and now box as well, and you all just kind of coming together and all have that common goal of winning a championship.
Yeah, like you said, right? I think it's a perfect mix of veterans and young, fresh faces in the league. I'm especially excited to see how Brennan's going to play this year. Obviously, there's a lot of hype about him, and he's a tremendous lacrosse player, obviously, in the field game. I think he's very coachable, and I think he's going to catch on quick in the box game. And obviously having Nicky from Panther City come out and he's going to be the backbone of this team. And a lot of these games, he's probably going to steal some of these games for us. He's that kind of guy, and he's very competitive. So I'm excited to see him in a Wings jersey.
We had Blaze in here earlier, and he was talking about, who he's excited to play with, and he said you're number 1 on his list. Just talk to me about, competing against Blaze over the past couple of seasons and now being his teammate and what you're excited about, not only for, his game on the floor, but the type of leader that he is and getting in the mix with him.
So I was actually fortunate enough to play one game with Blaze in a senior A lacrosse game in Brampton about 5 or 6 years ago, and just, what he brings to the game, he's just hard-nosed player. He'll do anything to win, do anything for his teammates on and off the floor. So I'm definitely excited to get out there with him on the floor and then, share some of those memories off the floor as well, because he's a really good guy. A good leader on this team.
100%. And I mean, how much value do you put into, with Panther City the last 2 seasons, you guys made the playoffs. Past couple of years, the postseason hasn't been in the cards for the Wings. For you guys to bring that postseason experience and knowledge and what it takes to, go through a full season and get to the playoffs and what it takes to win there, how valuable do you think that's going to be for you guys coming in from Panther City to bring to this team and kind of teach the way of what it takes to get to the playoffs?
It's extremely valuable. I mean, having that experience and just having that, bitter taste in your mouth the last 2 years being in the playoffs and getting bounced in the first round, I think it makes me, myself, obviously the team, just hungrier. Obviously, Philly wasn't in the position to be in the playoffs last year. So for us to push that envelope this season, our goal is to make the playoffs. You make the playoffs, and anything can happen from there. So we just take it game by game, week by week, and hopefully we get in the playoffs.
And, you're the type of player who's not afraid to, crash the net a little bit, get those garbage goals and everything. Just talk to me about your game and what Philly fans can expect from Phil Caputo out on the floor.
I just play a hard-nosed game. I know I'm up front on offense, but I like to get in the middle. I'm more of an off-ball kind of player, banging around for my teammates, getting them open. And then I take pride in getting to the dirty areas on the floor and scoring a goal. Like I don't care if I'm on my back after I score. As long as the ball's in the net, I'm happy. And just being a responsible player, taking away transition, doing the little things right that will lead to the offensive success.
What's it been like, kind of just trying to navigate, coming into Philadelphia and knowing that you have your former teammate, now your current teammate, Liam Patton, who's played here before, obviously TK, who has coached here before. Have you talked to them about, just getting used to the environment and playing in front of, such a large crowd?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Patsy's a great guy. I'm excited to be reunited with him. He plays a hard-nosed, gritty game that I think these Philly fans are going to enjoy, and they've already had the pleasure of enjoying him. So I think it's going to be good, and obviously TK just brings that intensity every night, man, and he'll drag you into the fight with him, and I think that's a great addition, so I'm excited to have him as well.
When you see that, such a large group of you guys were coming to Philadelphia, and then a couple weeks later, TK gets announced that he's coming, what was the excitement level knowing that, your head coach the past couple of seasons was still going to be with you on this journey for your career?
It was definitely pretty cool because, I mean, I was fortunate enough I got drafted by New England, and TK was there as an offensive coach. So I've been learning from him since day one in my pro career, and he's obviously one of the great minds in the game. He thinks outside the box a lot, so I'm excited to see what he's going to put together with this group offensively with all our different pieces.
Getting to talk to some of the guys that are here today and knowing that every year every team has the expectation of wanting to hoist that trophy at the end of the year. What is kind of, talking to the guys and that expectation of going into this season and what it's going to take for you guys to be the ones holding it up?
I think you have to just take it game by game and week by week. You can't focus on the end goal right away. You have to take it starting from game one. Our focus on San Diego, and that's that, right? So I think TK and Coach Rubes are probably going to preach this as well, but it's just everyone doing their job. No one trying to do anything too big or make yourself bigger than the team. The team's always first, and I think with that mentality, the we not me mentality, that definitely goes a long way. And I think we have a good group that can take it there. This league obviously minus one less team now. It's competitive. It's a 1-goal game every game. So we have to take that experiences and build on that and pull out of those games because those are the ones that are going to get you in the playoffs at the end of the day.
What do you think the feeling's going to be? I think it's December 14th, the home opener, when you run out on the floor for the first time, wearing this jersey and hearing that crowd going crazy for you, being introduced as a Philadelphia Wing for the first time. What's that feeling like now, and trying to just kind of encapsulate what it's going to be like that
honestly
night?
I get a little goosebumps just thinking about it. I mean, definitely excited, maybe a little anxious and nervous, but I think it's good energy for me. I'm going to take that and take it into the game and really soak it all in and really just put my best foot forward every game, every shift I'm out on the floor for these fans and my team.
Phil, I'm stoked you're here. Looking forward to a great season for the Wings, for you in particular as well, and looking forward to opening night here and obviously a full season. Hopefully we're talking about a championship down the line as well.
Yes, sir, man. I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
I'm Mayor Anthony Finucci. If you're looking for the right location, think Vineland, New Jersey. Our pro-business approach is supported by financial incentives, workforce development programs, and other resources which can give your business a competitive edge. Whether you're starting a new business or expanding to new markets, our business environment, infrastructure, accessibility, and quality of life make Vineland an ideal location. More information about how we can help your business grow can be found at vinelandcity.org. Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season.
All right, everybody, we are here at Wings Media Day and now joined by Anthony Malcom, new to the Philadelphia Wings. Welcome to Philly, man. It's, you walked in here. It's good to see you in a Wings jersey now. What's the excitement level coming to a new organization and having a bunch of your pals from Panther City and obviously Coach Koleski here as well? How much does that play into, just that comfort factor of coming to a new city?
For sure. I'm extremely excited to be here. Like you said, I think roughly 7 players from PCLC are coming over, TK included. I love TK. He's a great leader. Going to a storied franchise like Philly. I'm just really excited to get going here next week, and couldn't be more happy to be here.
When you hear your name get called, during, unfortunately, a dispersal draft for the league, but when you hear your name get called, new opportunity for you, what's that initial, excitement level of hearing it's Philadelphia?
That's a great question. I think Philly is definitely a franchise where most players in the league would like to play for. No one wanted to see that happen with a team folding in our league, but once we heard that, we were all looking towards where would be the best fit for us as players, but ultimately, we couldn't control that. Thankfully, I'm here. If I could pick any team I would want to play for, given my situation and living on the East Coast and all the players that have come here, TK included, this would be the spot. So I'm extremely excited.
You look at an organization like this, obviously last season for the Wings wasn't the ideal, outcome for them, but they still have so many blue chip players here, from Mitch Jones to Blaze Reardon, and you had the number 1 overall pick in Brennan O'Neill, and 7 of you guys coming from a playoff team a year ago in Panther City. How exciting is that, knowing that, even though the result wasn't there last year at the end of the year for this team, you're coming in with a total crop of talent that can really do some damage in this league together?
No, for sure. I think the expectations are extremely high with this group, even though last season, maybe they underachieved. I know Mitch Jones extremely well. I grew up with him on the West Coast. He's a great friend of mine. He's a great leader, great competitor. We have all those other pieces, as you mentioned, with this recent influx of players from PCLC, which are, we made it to the playoffs 2 years in a row. So we obviously have some good pieces that I think will, add extreme value to this club here in Philadelphia. And I think obviously we're going to be shooting for playoffs and ultimately a championship. And I know TK is going to be making that a point of emphasis from the moment we start training camp next weekend.
When you see TK is coming back too, what is, that initial reaction for you guys as a collective that we're with PCLC and coming into a new environment where it may be, kind of a bit of a shock, where it's, who's going to, get along with who and kind of making those new relationships, but you have now your former head coach coming back to a place where he was before as well. How much does that kind of ease the nerves?
For sure. I think they do have a little bit of their work, cut out for them in terms of, having to manage that, essentially almost 2 teams coming together here, and then a few of those added, draft picks that, like O'Neill and some of the others that will definitely have their place here in Philly. I think we'll have, 4 weeks here to iron those things out. But I didn't even really think about that too, in terms of, TK was once here, and being back home here now, pretty much where he started his coaching career, I think will help. And so, next weekend or when training camp starts, I think there'll be no issues whatsoever with just having us all gelling together.
You've been here as an opponent before. What the environment can be like here in Philly at the Wells Fargo Center. How nice is it going to be to have those fans, those 10,000 plus fans on your side now rooting for you rather than against you?
For sure. It's a hostile environment whenever you come here to Philly. That's what you want as a player, regardless of where you're playing, even if you're at home or on the road. So I'm excited to be able to, have that for 9 games of the season. And, something that we didn't really have a lot of down in Texas, for how much we loved it and how well we were treated. It'll be nice to come to a team that fills the barn on the regular.
And, when you come to a city like Philly and, the success of every team here over the past couple of years has been through the roof, and you guys are trying to add on to that, how much do you think that kind of, feeds into you guys wanting to even succeed that much more and be mentioned in the breaths of, the Flyers, the Sixers, the Eagles, the Phillies, the Union, and kind of have the Wings mentioned in that breath and the success kind of trickled down to you guys as well.
For sure, yeah. This is a huge sports town. Obviously, I follow all the other leagues, and just being able to feed off that energy, the energy of, like I said, the support that all the locals have for all their sports teams. And I think that first game, I want to say it's December 11th. It's a home opener. I'm excited to be able to put this jersey on in front of them.
When you have the number 1 overall pick coming into the organization and everything, and a lot of people coming in are skeptical about it because it's like, does Brennan O'Neill even have, box lacrosse background? He's dipped his toes in the water. He's gotten his feet wet a ton and has grown up watching games, grown up coming to Wings games. How excited are you to play alongside somebody of his skill, his talent, and just the type of person that he is?
For sure. No, I'm thrilled to be a part of this. A part of him dipping his feet into the box scene, and I think without question he's gonna pick it up extremely quickly and be an absolute staple in this team's offense, and be a name that people are gonna really resonate with around the league. You look at Tom Schreiber, for instance. I think a lot of people might have said the same thing about him signing with Toronto, 4, 5, 6 years ago, and he picked it up year one, and he steadily improved his game every year since, to now the point where you put him in the short list of one of the best players in the league.
You look at just the overall makeup of this team, and like you said, 7 new guys coming in from Panther City. What's kind of the message to Philly fans of what they can expect from your guys' style of play and what you guys bring to the table as you introduce yourself?
Well, TK's big on hard work, gritty, outworking the other opponent. So that's kind of what we all had in PCLC. I don't know if we had particularly a star-studded cast, so to speak, but we outworked our opponent pretty much every night, especially when we won. And I think that's in our league when the parity is it's crazy, right? And if you get outworked on any given night, you put yourself in a position where you're going to lose the game. So I think definitely a blue-collar mindset, hardworking, a lot of two-way players like myself that can impact the game in all 3 phases. Obviously, Nicky DeMood is, in my opinion, one of the, if not the best goalies in the league. He's young, he's 25, so you can expect him to be, your starter for several years to come. Some veterans. We got Burton coming in. He's he takes faceoffs. He can do it all. Philly Caputo on the right side of the floor put up 30 goals last year. We got Foley, another American. That's a great stay-at-home defenseman. Sellers the same way. So I think we're really going to help this team hopefully achieve expectations here this coming up season.
Like I said, man, it's good to see you in a Wings uniform
this
time around, and looking forward to watching you play out there on the floor all season long. And welcome to Philly, man.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Shout out to the boys, Phil Caputo and Anthony Malcom. Probably will not be the last time either of them are on this show to some degree. But Harrison, let's get into the Fly Guys, and it's brought to you by our awesome merch partners at PHI Apparel Company. If you want to stand out in the crowd at a Flyers game, a Wings game, Sixers, Eagles, Phil Spring Training's right around the corner. Before you know it, it'll be here. The Union, or you want to rep Underground Sports Philadelphia and our awesome network of podcasts, PHI Apparel Company is the place to do it. Stand out in the crowd. Fill up your cart with all of their unique designs for all. And when you go to checkout, use our code UNDERGROUND and you get 10% off your next merch order. That's code UNDERGROUND at phiapparel.co. It's also linked in the description to get 10% off your next merch order from our awesome merch partners at PHI Apparel Company. The Flyers lose to the Hurricanes in the most ping-pongy back and forth. Unreal, just like Flyers score and then boom, Carolina scores. It's one of those things that I know we said it last week too, and we keep telling ourselves this is year one of the rebuild. My thing is that it feels kind of weird that Matt Vey is kind of in a little bit of a slump for multiple games in a row now, and I understand, like, we're talking about a 19-year-old kid. but it is one of those things that it feels like, get him the puck a little more. Like
Yeah.
let him create a little more, and he'll get out of that slump. But the Flyers are slumping, and it was kind of one of those things that you got to know it's going to happen this year.
Yeah.
But a lot of these games, that Carolina game, the Bruins game on Tuesday was the inverse of that, where you win that game and you feel good. But this
Yeah.
Carolina game, the Canadiens game, the game against the Capitals on Wednesday in DC,
These
even the
brutal
game,
periods.
even the game against the Capitals at the Wells Fargo Center, the game against the Kraken, the game against the Oilers, like
Yep.
they're all
List goes
winnable
on.
games. Those games are very winnable for the talent that's on this team. And I just don't get where some of the lapses come from.
I don't either. I think it's because is a very young team,
Yeah.
but they have a lot to learn, and it's just these middle period slumps that are killing us. Like, you go out there in the first period, you score 1 or 2 goals, maybe you shut out the other team, and they're feeling good, and then the second period happens, and you let up 3, 4, 5 goals even, and you just take all that momentum you've gotten in that first period, and it's gone. Just gone in the it's up in the wind with the snow that's pushed up when you stop. And then the third period happens and you scored 2, 3 goals. You get right back in the game. You get 1 goal away from tying it up. You tie it up even. And then you let up a goal with 30 seconds left. Or you let up the game winner in overtime. Or you lose in a shootout. It feels like we're right there, but we're also so far away.
In
But
a
this is what
game where Travis Konechny has 4 points,
yeah,
you should be able to win that game. Like, I know 4 points sounds
absolutely.
very small, but TK is your most seasoned veteran in terms of offensive production that you're relying on. He is your go-to guy outside of like this young core. Obviously, TK's still young, but he is your quote unquote grizzled veteran that
Yep,
if he's leading the team in scoring that night, that's a game the Flyers should be winning.
absolutely.
And
And
he scored 2 goals on 2 shots on goal. Like, he was 100%. Like,
he was cooking. And that second goal was filthy. A little BTB pass from Coots, Captain Couturier, I should say. And he just that soft little redirect. The goalie had no idea was heading his way. And then, a lapse in defensive judgment, a wide open net. Bad things happen when that all those things come together. It's just a
and I
shame
think
how that
from
didn't
an
pan out.
offensive perspective, like, this team needs more from the Morgan Frosts, from the
Yes.
Tyson Forsters, from the Joel Farabys, from the Bobby Brinks. Like, you
Yep.
need those young guys to take that next step and be contributing on a night in and night out basis. You can't have those guys in particular who are supposed to be part of this core getting blanked or have 1 point in the game and that
Absolutely.
be all they do. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like, you need more from those guys like Tyson Forster, Joel Farabee, and Bobby Brink. I know they're all relatively young, but those guys should not be having zeros on their stat sheet.
No. And I think as the year goes on, we'll start to see them progressively start to add to their stat sheet more. I mean, we saw it last year and continuing on with this year with Owen Tippett, a good young player who's consistently getting on the scorecard. It's going to start to come more frequently from Morgan Frost and Bobby Brink and Matvey Michkov. It's going to start to build up, but we're not quite there yet. It's going to take the whole season. And then next year, it'll be even more consistent. By year 3, they're going to be 80, 90 point scorers, hopefully. And maybe by year 4, we're actually vying for a Stanley Cup. I'm saying the 5-year plan, year 5 is when we're going to actually start being really competitive. But year 4, things should start picking up. There are good things on the horizon for the orange and black.
Yeah, for
That's all I
sure.
can say.
And I think the other thing too is like they really need to figure out the defense when Sam Erson's not in goal.
Yes.
That's been like, yes, the goaltending needs to be better, but also it feels like the defense is like a wet paper towel when
Yeah.
Sam Erson's not in net.
It was the same issues when the other goalie, who we will not name, was in cage. He was getting left out to dry for a while. This has been an issue going back to, I want to say, the mid 2010s, when we didn't even have, like, after Brizgalov, before He Who Shall Not Be Named, that Steve Mason era, he was standing on his head for a lot of it.
We made Steve
And
Mason look like a fucking generational goalie.
oh my God. And then Brian Boucher, he had to do a lot of standing on his
I
head.
gotta say, Brian Boucher, great as an analyst.
Shout out Bouch. He's just done so much for the city of Philadelphia. How can you not love Bouch?
He's awesome in the booth.
And we never should have let Bobrovsky go.
Yep.
That's been our biggest issue, because goaltending has been the big thing for the Flyers since Ron Hextall. If we had kept Bobrovsky, this team might be completely different than it is now. And shout out Bobrovsky for finally getting his cup. I was very happy for that
Same.
Panthers squad, but he should be in orange and black right now.
Yeah. I don't know. It's one of those things, and you look at the Flyers' upcoming games here for the rest of the month. You know, you're at the Panthers on Saturday, or I'm sorry, you have a game at the Lightning on Thursday. You're at the Panthers on Saturday. Then you come home on Monday to play San Jose. Then you go up to I hate this scheduling here, Harrison. Let me know if I'm crazy here. So the Flyers come home on Monday to play the Sharks, but then they go to Ottawa to play the Senators on Thursday, just to come back home for 5 straight home games.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Why do we have to go to Ottawa in between this homestand? Is crazy to me. But you go to Ottawa, then you're home against the Sabres, home against the Avalanche, home against the Hurricanes, home against the Blackhawks, and then home against the Golden Knights. And then you go on the road to play the Predators, and then you're home against the Rangers for that Black Friday game. Then you go to St. Louis.
Yep.
There's a lot of winnable games in there for the talent alone that's on this team.
Absolutely.
And it all just comes down to them executing.
And again, as I've harped on for these last few minutes, it's going to take time for them to learn how to execute. But once they figure it out, it's smooth sailing.
100%.
I feel good for these Fly guys.
Yeah, so let us know how you feel about the Flyers right now, what they need to do to fix some things. We'll wrap up here with the Phillies. It's brought to you by our awesome pals over at 47 Brand Harrison. I just got this hat in the mail.
Oh,
the Dueling World Series collection. Just beautiful stuff there. I love the vintage look. 47 Brand has been doing it for a long time, and they are genuinely the best hats in the game. I was at Citizens Bank Park today, and I saw the 47 Brand alley store. I was like Eric Andre, let me in. They have released some awesome stuff. They have a new NHL capsule that's coming out that I need to get the hat for. It's like that classic, like early 2000s orange NHL logo rope hat. Looks absolutely beautiful. And they're releasing a whole line of NHL gear pretty soon to coincide with like that era. Here it is. History Hits Hard, the NHL Vintage Shield Collection. The stuff looks great. They've got awesome Philly stuff, Sixers, Eagles, Flyers. They've got soccer. They just started rolling out Premier League stuff earlier this year. So they've got 3 teams from the Premier League: Liverpool, Arsenal, and I believe West Ham, but I'm sure more is coming. They've also got minor league baseball, the NCAA. Their NASCAR stuff is the best. I'm not even the biggest NASCAR like fan, but the merchandise that comes from NASCAR is so sick. Check out 47 Brand. It's the best way to shop for your favorite sports fan this holiday season. Click our link in the description and get free shipping on all orders with our friends over at 47 Brand. They just released a new collection as well with New Balance. They're doing a whole bunch of collaborations. 47 Brand's the best. Like I said, click our link in the description and get free shipping on all orders with our friends at 47 Brand and shop for your favorite sports fan this holiday season. Harrison, the Philadelphia Phillies, since we last recorded, have some new investors with the team, along with John Middleton and Mr. Middleman, who was brought in as another minority owner in 2023, will also be contributing additional funds to the team. That just tells me that John Middleton is doing whatever he can to shake up this team, to have difference makers and game changers across the board.
Yep.
And I don't understand why. I don't understand why. And it might just be because of the current makeup of the team. I don't understand why the Phillies are not being mentioned in the Juan Soto breaths as often as they should be.
I couldn't tell you. I really couldn't. It just feels like they're sleeping on the potential for us to be going all in, and not all in the way that Jerry Jones decided they were going all in. We're talking all in the Philadelphia way, which means actually throwing money where it should go. So,
Yes. I just want to see what this team does. Like there's so much potential for what could happen this offseason. I think part of the equation is taking care of your own, re-sign Jeff Hoffman.
yep.
I think that should be a huge priority for this team. And who knows, like this is the most unpredictable offseason I think we've had in this era of Phillies baseball. We have no idea what's coming. And like, sure, 2022 was unpredictable as well. Who would have thought we'd get Kyle Schwarber and Nick Castellanos that offseason? But we did. But a lot of the other moves, it was kind of like that player was linked to us all along. You know, the Trey
Yeah.
Turners, trading for JT Real Muto, Bryce Harper, you know, Zach Wheeler came in as kind of a shock, but it was the after effect of Garrett Cole going to the Yankees. I was totally fine with it, and Zach Wheeler has wound up to be one of the best free agent signings in Philadelphia sports history.
I mean, he's
But
that guy. He
he's
really
that
just
dude.
is.
And now it's like it's really funny to me that it's like the Phillies are not being brought up in the big dog breaths when they should be.
Yeah. They are they not one of the bigger markets in the MLB? Like we should be up there in talks with the Yankees, with the Dodgers, with the Mets. The Philadelphia fan base and demographic is massive. It's one of the biggest in the country. Yeah, I'd put us up there with Chicago and New York and LA any day of the week.
We're also
We
one of
have
those
the money.
weird instances where like the guys on this team, we are that team that is assembled of superstars that everyone likes to root for when the
Yes.
playoffs roll around. Like that's not normal for Philadelphia sports teams
No.
to have the national fan and casual fan backing of like, oh, I'm going to root for the Phillies because they're fun.
What's the old saying? No one likes us, we don't care. It feels weird when everybody likes us, but I don't hate it.
I
I don't hate
like
it.
that we get
Yeah.
that backing and the fun, and like I think that's a huge credit to the Phillies organization for the way they market our players and they put them in the public spotlight and just have them front facing so much, and the way that this team celebrates together when they accomplish things I think is very marketable to a lot of fans. And guess what, Juan Soto has openly said he is going to the team that has ownership, that cares about winning the
Yeah.
most, and has the most money to offer him.
I think John Middleton has a little bit of money. I think he cares a
Just a
little bit
smidge.
about winning. Just a little bit. I'd say that all stacks up pretty well in the Phillies race for Juan Soto.
Yeah, I need Juan Soto here expeditiously, and I need to see what they do this offseason. I'm excited. Not believing any rumors from anyone not named John Heyman, Ken
Yep.
Rosenthal,
Yep.
to a degree, Bob Nightingale, um,
To a degree.
and a couple other people here and there. Obviously, if Jim Salisbury drops a Salisbury bomb,
You
we're
have to
listening
believe
to
that.
that for
Yeah.
sure. He's always locked in. I'm glad Jim's back in the media space. But this is a note to Phillies fans everywhere who are gearing up for free agency and everything over the past couple of years. Oddly enough, it's very weird, but I think it's because of his connection with Scott Boras. John Heyman is the one that is always on the money with Phillies free agent moves. He's the guy that
Yeah.
announced the Harper move. He announced multiple moves for the Phillies in this era. If John Heyman is saying something about the Phillies, there's a lot of truth to it. So
Yep.
take that for what you will when you're following along with the free agent cycle. John Heyman is somebody to pay attention to when he says anything about the Phillies. I'm excited, though. I'm excited for free agency because baseball free agency is one of the best, if not the best, in all of sports.
I'd put it up there. It's either baseball free agency or European soccer free agency. It's those two, and it's them by a mile.
It's the best. We'll wrap up here with I took a tour of Citizens Bank Park today. And guys, as somebody who is at Citizens Bank Park a ton during the season and sees a lot of the stadium, and have been going there since I was a kid, I can't encourage you enough to take that tour. Take the tour of Citizens Bank Park. It is bang for your buck. Unbelievable. It is $20 to take a tour of Citizens Bank Park. And if you're 55 and over, it's $15. I learned so much about the stadium, saw so much of the stadium that you traditionally would not see during a regular game or during the season, and have the access to it. It was such an awesome tour. I've taken a tour of Camden Yards before, and you and I took the tour of Fenway Park in Boston.
Yeah.
Like,
That's a good time.
baseball stadium tours are so informative and so fun, and you learn so much. And to learn about your favorite team that way is the coolest thing ever. You see so much of the stadium that, like, you don't even know exists. You learn about so much that you don't even, like, realize went
Yep.
into the stadium. I highly encourage it. This isn't even an ad. I just want everyone to experience it because I had so much fun. And our tour guide literally said, no two tours are the same. You're going to get a different tour every time you come because of how each tour guide decides to start off a tour, where they take you. I genuinely had so much fun. It is such a good time to just go out with people that are Phillies fans and enjoy Citizens Bank Park. I can't encourage it enough. Do it. Just go on the Phillies website and click on the tours. $20 and you get an hour and a half at Citizens Bank Park to go around in just
Beautiful.
the best ballpark in Major League Baseball.
By a mile. I've been to a few great ballparks in my time. I've been to Yankee Stadium, Fenway with you. Last year I was up at the Rogers Center up in Toronto. None of them hold a candle to Citizens Bank Park.
Yeah. It is awesome. I can't, like, it's genuinely like the perfect Christmas gift. The perfect holiday gift. $20 and you
Other
get
than
to
a
go.
photo product.
Very true. I mean, the cool part about Citizens Bank Park, the New Era Team Store, open year round, they sell a lot of FOCO in there as well.
And 47.
And 47, it's the best. But genuinely, like, $20 for a holiday gift to go take a tour of a Major League Baseball stadium is nothing. And you learn so much, you take away so much, and it's just an awesome experience. And being in the ballpark at a time when you're traditionally not there is
Yeah.
also really cool to kind of just see the concourse empty, and seeing what it's like and being able to, like, freely roam around is really cool. Can't encourage it enough. Go take a tour of Citizens Bank Park. Learn a lot about the Phils. I
Best in baseball.
genuinely will tell you that you will take away so much from it. And if you do take it, leave us a voicemail and let us know about your experience. Harrison, any final thoughts before we get up on out of here?
I thought your segment at the beginning was perfect. I echo the same thoughts. And go Birds, go Flyers, go Phillies, go Sixers, go Wings, go Water Dogs.
Go Union.
Go Union.
Make sure you guys are following us on the socials at Underground PHI, or search Underground Sports Philadelphia across the board on every platform. Subscribe to the podcast on Apple, Spotify. Leave a 5-star review. Really helps us continue to grow, helps us continue to build this awesome community that you guys have afforded us the opportunity to build and have, and subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, youtube.com/@Underground Sports Philadelphia. That's where you get full video episodes of this show twice a week, full video episodes of every show on our network, clips, shorts, live streams, original video content. It's all on our YouTube channel. Let's get to 1,000 subscribers. Leave a like on the video, drop a comment in the comment section, and click the bell icon so you know when new videos go live. And of course, guys, this show is presented by the city of Vineland. And guys, I'll tell you a little secret. City of Vineland is booming right now. And whether you're a company looking to expand, relocate, or you're a new business startup, selecting the right location is critical to your success. Vineland, New Jersey offers both an affordable business location and an excellent quality of life. The city's economic development department is a one-stop source for moving your project through the development and approval process. And their goal is to make this process as smooth as possible and to provide the fastest turnaround times in the region. If you're considering potential locations for your operation, contact the Vineland Economic Development Team at 856-794-4100. That's 856-794-4100. Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season. And big thank you to Security 21 Security Systems and Paul J. Gillespie Incorporated for their continued support of this podcast. This has been episode number 688 of Underground Sports Philadelphia. For Harrison, for Phil Caputo, for Anthony Malcom, I'm your boy KB. Be kind to yourself. We're here for you if you need anything. Our DMs are open. We appreciate the hell out of you guys. And I'll talk to you guys on Monday, hopefully following a Birds win. We'll have another Victory Monday episode. But until then, we're getting the heck up out of here, and we're signing off. Peace.